Welcome to Wine and Dine Radio. I'm Lynn Creelo Chamberlain.
Hi there, this is Andreas Larsson.
Hi, this is John Capon.
My name is Madhur Jaffrey.
Hi, my name is Heike Platter. I'm from the Alto Adige region, or Südtirol.
Hi, my name is Paul Dolan. I am absolutely passionate about growing organic and biodynamic fruit for our wines.
Hello, my name is Lorena Garcia.
Hello, my name is Fritz Maytag.
This is Joyce Bach. I'm the author of Foodie Fight.
Hi, this is Lydia Mondavi, founder of 29 Cosmetics.
Cheers, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect.
On August 4th will be the very first International Albarino Day. The Tapas organization, who we have had on as guests of Wine and Dine a couple times over the years, Tempranillo, Advocates, Producers, and Amigos Society, is hosting the International Albarino Day. What they're doing is inviting everyone to enjoy Albarino from anywhere in the world and join in on the conversation on Twitter by using the hashtag Albarino Fiesta. And we will, of course, have information up for you to, if you're not writing this down while you're listening, we'll have it all for you. Joining us today on Wine and Dine, first time we're meeting Mr. Richard Longoria, who is the owner and winemaker of Longoria Wines, which is an artisanal family winery. And they indeed make an Albarino and a Tempranillo. And Richard is joining us from, is it Los Olivos is where you're located, Richard?
Good morning, Lynn. Actually, no, I'm in Lompoc, which is where our winery is located in Lompoc.
Okay. So why is Albarino, why are you passionate about Albarino? I mean, it's for Americans, for so many Americans, it's kind of new. When was the first time you ever had an Albarino in your life? Do you remember?
Oh, absolutely. It was on a family vacation to Spain, I think 1996.
Wow.
We took our two kids who were kind of entering their mid-teen years, and we kind of thought, they're not going to want to go on a family vacation much longer with us, so we thought, let's make this one memorable. So we went to Spain for the first time and toured the various wine regions there, Rioja and Ribera del Duero. And for the first time, we encountered Albarino, and we loved it. And so when we came back about in 1997, a local winemaker had secured some cuttings that he brought back from Galicia, where Albarino comes from, and planted it at his vineyard here near Lompoc. And after about 4 or 5 years, he determined that his site was too cool.
Really?
Yes. Here in Lompoc, of course, we're very, very close to the ocean, a lot of maritime influence, and ideal for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, but for certain varieties, maybe just a bit too cool. So he said, it's an experiment that didn't work, so he was going to pull the vines out. And my friend Bob Lindquist of Coupé and Verdad and I both had this interest in Albarino, and so we asked this winemaker to allow us to take cuttings and then replant them. And so some other friends of mine had a vacant parcel in Santa Ynez Valley, right near the town of Santa Ynez. And so we established 1.5 acres of Albarino in the year 2000. And our first crop was 2004.
Richard, have you ever, when you were in Spain, did you ever then visit, did you all, go to Galicia? I mean, in my mind, and of course I've never been there before, but I've seen pictures with all the fjords. It's so green. It's right on the coastline. It really, that original vineyard in California was too cool?
Well, I know it's kind of hard to believe, and but nonetheless, I mean that was his opinion, and we're just lucky that he had the vision to bring the cuttings over here. And then, we've propagated them a little bit inland, and, just based on the quality of my wine and also Bob's, I mean, that's an ideal location. We've had tremendous success with our Albarino, so it seems to be, it may not be exactly like Galicia.
Yes, yeah.
But certainly makes a comparable wine.
there are several different styles, at least coming out of Galicia, of Albarino. I know that you are sold out of your Albarino Clover Creek Vineyard, at least what's the 2011 that's showing on the website. But what can you draw any parallels to a style from Galicia that consumers would be familiar with, or describe your Albarino? Is it more on the mineral side? Is it more on the fruity side?
Yeah, I have been to Galicia. In fact, last year we toured the Rio Spacious region, which is the heart of the Albarino wine region, and visited 3 or 4 different producers. And in our visit there, I came to realize that there's basically one predominant style, and it's fairly traditional, and that is to make it absolutely bone dry.
Okay, yes.
Lower in alcohol, usually around 12% or less.
Okay.
And, of course, with bracing acidity, which is a hallmark of the variety, but it's accentuated, of course, in their climate where, they don't pick very ripe. So the wine is very acidic,
okay.
And it just comes out beautiful. I mean, it's a very subtle wine in its aromatics. It's sort of a cross between Viognier, Gewürztraminer, and Sauvignon Blanc. Kind of has characteristics of all those 3 grapes. And, of course, it's a perfect complement to the seafood that's indigenous to that part of Spain, that northwest part of Spain. So I followed suit. I mean, that's my model, and so I try to make a wine very much in that same style.
Okay.
They are experimenting, it was interesting, with another style that's what I would call a little bit more New World.
Okay.
And that is barrel fermentation, a certain amount of time in barrels, and perhaps picked a little bit riper.
And more fruit forward?
I know the most fruit forward, of course, is the traditional style.
Okay.
Because that's oak, and oak, of course, kind of obscures a little bit of the fruit character. So no, they're just a little bit have more depth and more concentration than the traditional style. And so it's interesting how the producers there are still experimenting with this grape, even though they've been making it for quite a while. They're still trying to find out, just how versatile that wine may be for them.
What message do we need to get out to people listening about this International Albarino Day? Are you inviting, because I would imagine that it's just all Albarinos, any style from any producer, from any geographical location, drink Albarino on August 4th and talk about it.
Absolutely. We want to put the word out to all wine aficionados, whether or not they've ever had an Albarino, to get out and explore this variety. Go to a local wine shop and find, preferably, obviously, from our standpoint, a domestic Albarino.
Yeah.
And there's some 30 to 40 producers now in the United States, ranging from Oregon down to California.
Okay.
Producing Albarino of extraordinary quality. So we're very pleased with how the grape is translated here in the U.S. But from coast to coast, just to find a seafood restaurant. The wine is so well suited to seafood that that's probably where you would more than likely find an Albarino on a wine list, would be a seafood restaurant. And obviously a Spanish restaurant as well, because it's one of the premier white wines of Spain. So we just want to get everybody out there to explore this new variety, and I think they'll be pleasantly surprised if they've never had it.
Yes.
And it's just a wonderful, absolutely world-class grape that is expanding rapidly here in the U.S.
Up on your website, LongoriaWine.com, you have a recipe for a June featured recipe to pair with your Albarino, and it's a shrimp ceviche, basically.
Yeah, that actually, one of our employees who has a real knack for cooking came up with that, and all of us were involved in the test kitchen when she developed it. And It is fabulous. But any seafood, any shellfish in particular.
Okay.
And of course, when we were in Galicia, we had the wonderful pulpos, which is the squid and octopus.
Yum!
With just a little bit of cayenne pepper and garlic and a chilled glass of Albarino, and it was absolutely delicious.
Was the was the squid and octopus prepared the same way with the lime, fresh lime, etc.?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
Just
wow.
very, very lightly sautéed or grilled, and then just a sprinkling of lime or lemon, and then just a little bit of pepper.
And cayenne pepper, you say?
Yes.
Whoa! I have to do that this weekend. This sounds fantastic.
Well, and if not this weekend, certainly
on August 4th.
August 4th. The Spanish, of course, take a single day celebration and make a week of it. So they actually start the week prior to the first weekend of August.
Okay.
And this happens actually in the city of Cambados, which is the capital of the Rio Especias region, and just a beautiful coastal city and lovely people.
So there will be people, I'm sure, from all over the world that will be joining in on this conversation. International Albarino Day, August 4th. And you'll need hashtag Albarino Fiesta. Richard Longoria, owner and winemaker of Longoria Wine in Lompoc, California, thank you so much for joining us today on Wine and Dine.
My pleasure, Lynn. Thank you for having me.
We will have links up for you to learn more.